going to go through an install with the XP Pro flush mount, and we need to do a little bit of housekeeping. So we need to take this fuse panel box that's up underneath the driver's side and just remove it and push it out of the way. So I just take a little screwdriver and pop these little panels out. Once you get one out, you can just take your finger behind it and pop them out. Print it to actual, we've got a little scale bar down here, and if you put, it's 1 inch. So if you go from there to there, that's 1 inch. So if it doesn't measure 1 inch, you didn't print to actual. And then you should be able to cut this out, and then you'll cut along this dotted line here, and then just go straight across. That's the template when this is cut out like this. And so what you're going to do is we're going to have to cut these little tabs off first, but this will fit up nicely against there. And then everywhere that is, we'll just mark it, and then that's the part that needs to be cut out to fit the in dash. Make sure you don't cut any extra because we need this for the supports for the screws. So there's a little blue light underneath here on some machines. This is one of them. You got to squeeze the tips and pop it through. And you can see it right there. See, there's the light. Make sure you pull that baby out before you cut. And then actually, the tip part didn't come through. See how his little fingers right there? You just squeeze the fingers and it comes out. And before you start cutting, make sure that all these wires are out of the way. And if you've got extra switches and stuff, you're going to have to take those out because you can't, it's going to occupy this area. So if you notice, I taped off everything that I didn't want to get scratched off. And this is a good practice before you start cutting. Just tape everything off. I just took some painter's tape here, and it's going to protect your plastic. I just rough cut the switch parts out so I can get this in flush and flat. And now I'm able to mark. See, I need to cut a little bit more right here. That's why I put a little yellow mark. It's hard to see on the camera. And the little yellow mark here, we're going to have to go down as well. So, and then that will complete what the box is. And again, check everything back here. Make sure that all that's gone, because we need to go flush down, and then we're going to have to cut and make, because this whole box has got to be free. We're going to continue to cut everything that's straight back from that template box. So we need to do a little bit more trimming here. And you don't have to use a Sawzall. I prefer actually use a plastic cutter, but we're trying to use what tools most people have. We need to remove the top box, and if you've got this USB port, you just squeeze the grommet and push it through, and it will come out. Now we need to do some wiring. We need to remove the pulse plug caps, and to do that, pull out on this tab. Once the tab is pushed out, you can pull out the cap. You'll see 3 wires of yellow, black, and red from the pulse plug that we provide. I disconnected the pulse plug from the Wago lever nut, and how you do this is lifting up on these orange tabs to unlock the wire. Then you can pull the wire out. You will notice that we use the yellow wire connected to the noise filter, red wire, and the reason I do this is the comm comes on with the key. That way you can't accidentally leave the comm on and kill your battery. Now if you don't like that, you can use the red wire that I have taped up here in place of the yellow wire, and the comm will be able to stay on if the key is off. I personally don't recommend this for 2 reasons. One, our radio has a parasitic draw, and if you don't ride for a month or so, you'll drain your battery. Number 2, if you forget to turn off the intercom and the radio, you will drain your battery even faster. Whichever wire you don't use, make sure you cap with some electric tape or a wire nut so there's no chance of the wire grounding out, sparking, or blowing a fuse. Now it's time to stick down the noise filter. Make sure the base of the cubby is clean and free of debris and plastic shavings we just made from cutting. We include some double stick tape on the bottom of the noise filter. Simply pull them off and stick it down.
All right, I'm going to take out the passenger panel now. Again, we have several ports we're going to take out. 1, 2, 3. This one right here that we're going to have to take out. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whoop, 9, 2 push pins, one right here and one right here, and that should get the fender the rest of the way off. There's these 2 screws right here too to get the last little part of the fender off. What do you think of this?
Oh, and there's 2 clips. I forgot to tell you, you got to reach up underneath here and there's 2 clips. I'll try to show you with the camera. See these clips right here? You need to push those buttons in to get this fender off. There's one there and one there and one down there. So you need to push those in to detach it from this other fender. There's just a ton of Torx 40s on this. You'll just have to pull out. And there's one clip back here. I forgot about the clip. Same clip as what was on the other one. And you're not going to be able to see it on the video, but it's the exact same clip. So you can see how those just clip inside there. It kind of goes in and clips, and they've just got little triangular clips on there. And that's how you get that out. So we ran the wires. That's the coax, the 2 headset wires, and actually the push-to-talk buttons inside there, and we ran them down and along there. Unfortunately, the coax will not fit between the gas tank and right there. I had to go outside a little bit. I hate doing that, but I kind of got it up against the crevice, and I think it's going to be okay. So typically, I'd want that tucked on the other side to protect the wire. So and you can see it comes up right there, and it's wrapped with some of those wire wraps. That's where the antenna went. You know, hindsight's always 20/20. I should have probably done the coax on this side because I got a lot more room, and I could have gone on the other side. In fact, I might change that and put the coax on this side. So if you guys are doing it again, go ahead and put the coax on the driver's side because you got a lot more room to keep it on this side of the bar instead of going on the outside of the bar. So I'll go ahead and go change that. So for an antenna test, we need to make sure everything's kind of installed. We used to have the antenna up a little bit higher, but we had to drop it down to get these better numbers for the antenna test. So how you do that is you press the push-to-talk button without any headsets connected to the head unit. So you can have the headset wires, but just make sure the headsets are disconnected. And you're going to look at the display where it says COM DB90. And you're going to watch this number, and we want to target less than 20 on this number. And you see how it says 02? That's really good. So that means that we have the antenna in the correct place. And you want to do this with the VHF frequencies. I do test the UHF frequencies as well, but usually the problem child is the VHF frequencies. So we got everything plugged in. We tested everything. They're all in the right spots. So you test all the headsets, they're all in the right spots. Headset 1, 2, 3, and 4. The PTT wires in, and make sure the secret sauce cord's plugged in all the way. Because if this is out just a bit, it can cause lots of problems. So make sure that's tucked in tight, and it's tucked in tight right there. Coax is on tight. So now we get to feed all these wires in. And this is a really tight fit, so from what we're seeing here is you got to kind of come up all the way right here. And we actually put this in. This was his winch, so we actually drilled this hole and put it in. So you may or may not have this. So we had to drill a big 1/4 inch hole to get this in there. So I just kind of push up, and you can kind of snug it in there and tuck it in there just like that. Alright, now we're just going to put the faceplate screws in here, and I turn my torque down on my drill a lot, or hand screw it in. So I got my torque at like 3 or 4. So if you just really carefully go in, you'll see it go in to where it just barely touches and snugs up. You do not want to strip it out because again, we got steel versus plastic here. So